Stream is coming out.
I mean, Florida man was disappointed you were from New York.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my main goals in life is to not be a FARC story. I think I'm capable of never becoming a FARC story.
I want to only be a FARC story if it's the right kind.
True. Like, because there is the hero tag.
That's what I'm saying.
You can get the hero tag. But the majority of the tags you can get are not hero. I don't want to get asinine. I don't want to get obvious. I definitely don't want to get scary or sick.
Man buys house in HOA. Murders board of HOA. Jury acquits.
Hero. That would get the hero tag. All right. I think the stream is going. Everything looks good. We'll just go. It's Tuesday, November 20th, 2018. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. Tonight, we are hype for PAX Unplugged. It's coming up, and it's the second one ever. So one of the things I have to do in the course of my job, because I'm like a business manager, owner type these days, like a product manager, is I gotta like go to team dinners and like take a bunch of people out to stuff and like hang out with all the people who actually build. Because I don't build anything, I just decide what to build and how to build it and when to build it.
The easy part.
To it, it's surprising how hard that part is sometimes. But so I'm at one of these things and I got a team that's pretty cool. They're all like really gamery, so we're talking about like game stuff and it's fun. And then at one point, someone's like, one of my like senior engineers who's real good says something like, "Yeah, I really love classic console gaming."
Is he gonna say some PlayStation game? PlayStation 2.
I picked up used a GameCube. So already, like, I'm already feeling old. Like, you can see, like, Rim's feeling of age escalates rapidly at this point. And I got the original Smash Brothers for it.
Don't you know the original Smash Brothers was for Nintendo 64?
Yeah, that was the first one, right? There couldn't have been one before that.
Yeah,
was there?
was, bro.
Yeah, this conversation just made me feel incredibly old.
So on the internet today, so in the Nintendo Switch subreddit, everyone's of course like Metroid Prime 4, when's it coming? When's it coming?
Yeah.
Right? But people have basically been based on no information whatsoever, right? Have basically been assuming, praying, begging that Nintendo will re-release all the old Metroid Prime 1, 2, 3, which they already did on the Wii. There was a Metroid Prime Trilogy re-release disc. But they're hoping for Metroid Prime re-release HD. They really want this for some reason. And I'm like, you could probably, for less than the cost, even if they put that out, it'll be like $60. For less than the cost of that, you could probably go get an old Wii or GameCube and the original disc or that trilogy disc for the Wii.
Yeah,
like,
right?
Why the fuck do you need this re-released for the Switch? Although, I must say, again, it is really stupid. If I was the CEO of Nintendo, every single game ever published by Nintendo would be in the eShop, or there would be some sort of Netflix subscription, and you would just get them all the end.
Yeah, I feel like...
Because it's like, yeah, you could just go get it, but that's sort of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, the Nintendo service... The problem is Nintendo is incapable of, like, working in anything other than the Nintendo silo is the problem. Like, they're set in their ways. Nothing will ever fix that.
Let's just buy Nintendo.
But I'm increasingly, like, I've gone to board game nights with, like, my engineers and coworkers. And the thing is, these people are not that much younger than me. Like, they're in their late 20s. And yet, the gulf of, like, knowledge of the history of games among people who are deeply invested in games is terrifying to me. Partly because...
No, when we got to RIT, I grew up with the NES and slightly Atari 2600.
I grew up with Atari 2600, 7800,
all 16-bit,
and the Intellivision.
And then even into the, at the end of high school, there was the N64 and such, right? And then the PlayStation 2 came out while we were in college. So then, even though I was only in school for, already in the second, third year of RIT, people that were only 1 or 2 years younger came in. And they grew up with PlayStation. They somehow did not see. How did they skip? Or I saw some Atari 2600. How did someone 2 years younger than me miss 10 years plus of games?
Now, that would be fine. Like, I'm not going to be the old man who's like, kids today don't know shit.
So for someone who's
I feel that, I recognize that's wrong.
For someone who's 10 years younger than me, I assume that anything older than PlayStation 3, they don't know.
Yep. But what bothers me, I guess what bothers me isn't so much that like people younger than me don't know the things I know, because that's expected. Like that's how the world works. Time advances.
Yeah.
What I didn't expect is how rapidly the memory hole like devours these things, because I know a lot about gaming from before the era I played games. And yet most people I encounter literally know nothing about the era before they started gaming, even if they are deeply invested in the hobby.
Well, I think the thing is, even people who, even just current knowledge, right? There seems to be this huge gap between people who read the internet and people who just do a thing.
Well, it's weird. Like
right?
when we were a kid,
there are people who will go to the store, they'll go to GameStop, they'll buy games, they'll take them home and play them, and they'll play a lot of games and spend all day playing games and never read a single video game website or magazine, and thus they know nothing. Whereas I grew up reading video game magazines,
which were basically just ads for video games,
and then video game websites, so I knew things because I seek out information about things.
But the internet-y people I meet who are a little younger than us, they seek out information about new things, but they have never like looked into the Shroud of the Past. Like they were, I overheard some coworkers last week debating what the first Final Fantasy game was because they weren't sure.
Final Fantasy 1.
They weren't, but they weren't sure because like
couldn't you just couldn't they just Google what was the first Final Fantasy game? Because that's like what happens to me is I don't spend time like let me go learn about the past. I just if I happen to have a question, I Google it and slowly over time I remember where to Google to get a thing.
Yep. And also the one when I
don't remember the actual information. I just remember where I saw the information.
When I Google something like that, generally there's one of two results. Either there's an answer and now I know, or there isn't a clear answer, in which case I just found something amazing that I want to like track down and figure out.
Did you go set the Final Fantasy people straight?
Yeah, I literally like stepped into the conference room and was like, "Hi, none of you know me. The first Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy 1, and it came out on the Nintendo Entertainment System and the Famicom." And I walked away before they could react, and I just left them in the room. And
why don't you be like, I grew up playing that game. I sold it back to Funko.
No, what I actually said, the words I said were like, "Hey, you guys don't know me," but what I said was, in my professional expertise. And I started to just explain to them the history of Final Fantasy, and then I left. And it was pretty funny. But, yeah, there is some interesting news. So most of you don't seem to follow the World Chess Championships?
No, because chess is hella boring. I would rather watch many sports that I hate and call boring than watch chess, which I respect chess players more than some of the athletes.
Here's mine. I
hate fucking curling, right? And I respect people who play chess more than I respect people who curl. I would rather watch the curling.
I'd rather watch curling than chess.
And I hate fucking curling.
I'd rather watch curling than chess. I would rather watch chess than soccer.
It depends.
So I don't watch the chess live because I don't care that much.
No, fuck no.
But I do follow chess because I like to look at the results of games and step back through because you know this stuff like there's a million chess websites where you can look and see like what the fuck happened in this game with commentary and
I pay attention to the developments in the chess world slightly, about as much as I pay attention to developments in the Go world or the Counter-Strike world.
Yep.
Right? Where it's like, there's a thing happening, but like I don't follow it.
So I'm going to set the stage here. The thing that's been happening for the last decade or more is that, and the funny thing is, the reason I'm bringing this up is that I've been saying this in lectures and publicly and professionally for like a goddamn decade, and I am being proven right, and I'm very happy about this. But
that happens to me all the time.
Yeah, and this one is interesting though because math people are backing up my I didn't know the math, and I just made a lot of assumptions about the math, and the math is backing me up. But basically, humans...
Well, it's like guessing about P versus NP.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Humans are not competitive in chess and haven't been for a long time.
Nope.
Even shitty AIs are better than any human can possibly be at chess.
Usually when people commentate chess, like the one chess I did watch a few years ago, the last time I paid slightly more attention, the commentators were basically the computer would figure out the move and while they were the best move and while they were waiting for then they would have the computer generate like other possible moves that would also be good.
Yep.
And like top 5 moves from the computer. And then while the person is still thinking on their turn, and then they would use the computer's best moves as, aid in discussing what move the person was going to make.
Yep. So basically, humans cannot compete in chess against even shitty AIs. Nope. So human chess as in terms of strategy, has diverged a lot from what the AIs do, because that space is still going. It's AI versus AI, and the chess that they play is fucking weird as shit.
Right, but a lot of people, I think, at one, I don't know, this is a while ago, years ago, that I read that this was happening, but that people were basically learning from the AIs.
That's part two.
Intentionally trying to play like them as much as they could.
So humans who are trying to be good at chess are studying what the AIs are doing, but
right, that's many-year-old news, though.
Yeah. So the predicted outcome of this is that, like, the attractors in chess, like, if you play randomly, what is going to be the result of your actions over time, and like skilled players and all this, but chess probably devolves into a draw in long and play. And my evidence for that is not the current math, because I don't know it. Like, I'm not a mathematician. That ship sailed. But because as I studied chess to write GeekNights panels and just for my own amusement, it seems like most of the rules changes to chess in modern history have been to handle increasingly complex situations that end in draws. Like, draws are the end result.
Right.
Of chess games.
The only way to fix this is to change the rules of chess itself so that a draw cannot happen.
And the problem
that won't happen because that would be nothing like chess.
It really looks like players can force a draw pretty much if they want to, which is the end game of checkers. Checkers is proven. Chess is not proven. Seems likely. So humans can study AIs, but they can basically study what the AIs are doing to be able to take a game where they might lose and guarantee that they'll draw the game to move on to the next game.
I wonder, right? So far, checkers, we've proven is a draw.
There's a soft proof. There's not a hard proof. They have not explored every game stage.
Chess looks like it.
Yes.
Right? I wonder, are there any out there, any perfect information games that we've proven like, oh, it's a win or a or anything like that? So that way...
There's a bunch.
Okay. Otherwise, they'd be like, whoa, maybe all games like this are draws, and we could maybe make a higher level rule. But
so,
I guess not.
Go, I don't think, has a draw state at the end. Checkers, definitely both players can force a draw.
Don't know. It's way too far out. We probably won't live to see
The
that.
problem with chess is that the end game can get into all these loops where the game will be a draw, and there's all the rules.
You move your dude back and forth, I move my king back and forth. La 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 la.
So you can tell an elegant, perfect.
They should put in a rule for like Oshi.
Yeah, so they did. Chess has a ton of rules like Oshi to ensure that loops don't happen, where a game that's entering a loop state is a guaranteed draw. And I think the only thing human players will be able to do in the future is, if they're losing, force a draw. So the World Chess Championships that are going right now have had 8 crazy epic games that have all ended in draws. And they can only have 4 more games that I will bet money will end in draws. And after that, they're going to go into sudden death, which will probably end in draws.
So chess people are probably going to be mad at me for this, and it's probably hella wrong, right?
Yep.
But I want to say it anyway, because that's how I do. So I'm just going to admit that it's hella wrong to begin with, right? But usually, in my experience, my very weak experience playing chess, right, which doesn't even rise to the level of high school.
Because I'm average.
Not even high school chess club level, right? It's lower level than that. It's nerd who knows how to play chess level.
We should play a game of chess against each other. It's been a while.
I won.
Yeah, you did. We should play one now and live stream it.
The point is that at my level of I know how to play chess and that's about it, most of the draw, stalemate end states involve one player moving their king back and forth so it can't be killed, and the other player moving an attacking piece back and forth into a, like, check, you can't kill me, check, you can't kill me, right? That's the thing that I have seen personally the most common state event in
Now, I
game.
do know that you probably didn't know all the rules for draws.
I have no idea what the rules are, but that's
more complex than you think.
I'm sure they are, but I'm saying is that that's the most common state that I see, and that's definitely a draw, right?
Yep.
But in that situation, it's like, well, the other player who's moving the, say, queen back and forth also has their king, like, hiding out in the back somewhere, right? You know, otherwise they would have lost already, right? Why don't we define the rules of chess to be like, well, look, you're the one who's moving your fucking king back and forth, trying not to die, and I'm the one who's moving my attacking piece back and forth, trying to kill it.
I see where you're going with this.
So therefore, we're going to define this not as a draw, but as I fucking win, because you're the one who's hiding, and I'm the one who's attacking.
King back and forth doesn't really happen the way you have experienced it in real chess.
I'm sure it doesn't. That's why I preface this by saying I'm probably stupid. Please correct me, people who know more than me, which is anyone who's played any chess. But we could just by definition just change the rules of chess to define some of the stalemate states where the person who is more defensively positioned in the stalemate loses.
So here's
Just
the problem.
change the rule so that, no, it's not a stalemate.
Here's the
you
problem.
lose because you're on defense.
Here's the simplest problem with that, because I don't want to get it like this. I don't want to make the show about this.
Yep.
The simplest problem is white already has an advantage.
Yep.
If you codify those rules, you probably turn chess into a white wins game.
I mean, checkers is a first player wins game. So
No, checkers is a force of draw
I meant
game.
tic-tac-toe.
Yes.
I said checkers.
Yeah.
My brain had a picture of tic-tac-toe.
That's
in it.
fine. But basically, the end result of this is I think the game of chess, by the nature of its fundamental rules, is going to be a guaranteed draw game for humans forever.
Good.
And I
It's a boring game.
suspect it'll be a guaranteed draw game for the AIs as
All
well.
you people who play chess and are stupid, hella smart, and I respect you for being fucking awesome at games, come play real games with us and not stupid fucking chess.
Well, you know what? The Go
Come
people.
play some
you know what the
fucking
Go
Magic
people
the
will say.
Gathering and blow the doors off, right?
Come
play,
join us in Go.
Right.
Even though
you don't
Go will have a similar problem in the sense
You don't
that
need to play Go. Come play fucking Settlers and kick the shit out of everyone except when the dice go poorly. You
Yeah.
know? Come play fucking Netrunner. Come play.
well,
you know.
this is what we always
nerd
talk
games.
about though.
Stop
Nerd-
playing your boring ass chess.
The thing about nerd games, and we talk about this a lot in our panels, is that
Come play 1846.
if you
Rise of
play
Trains.
if you play nerd games like we play them and you treat them seriously like chess, the entire tournament scene devolves within a year or so, and the game is solved, and you move on to another game.
Good. Come play NFL. Come be an NFL football coach.
I think the future will be the kind like as chess as a sport will probably die out in popular even chess circles in the long run. But I think you're going to see a class of players of games who are the professional abstract board gamers that move from game to game to game, and when they solve a game to the point that the AIs are better than them and they have draw state or whatever, they move on to another game.
Good.
Or they do triathlons of
That's
three
what I try to
abstract
do.
games.
That's what I try to do, but I get no respect for it.
Give it time.
If I play a boring game like chess, then I get respect. But if I play my nerdy games, I get no respect.
So anyway, if you have
No
nothing better
respect,
to do,
yeah.
the next game is on November 21st. I'm going to, on November 22nd, see what happened in that game. I practically guarantee games 9, 10, 11, and 12 are going to be draws, and then we're going to go into the kind of ridiculous and hilarious overtime that chess
The
has.
overtime should just be the default mode.
It's basically just speed chess.
Right. Speed chess should be the only chess because if people are playing so perfectly that they can push a draw given all the time to figure out their moves, just give them 10 seconds per move. Fucking deal with it. You miss a move, you lose immediately. Fuck you.
Dude, you know what the end game's going to be like? It's basically you get 4 minutes total, and
Right. If we can't test who can make, if both players are equally good at making decisions given a minute, we'll see who's equally good at making decisions given 5 seconds.
it'll be
Fucking
funny.
Go.
Here's the tiebreaker. They go to another table. You got to play Go against each other now. Good luck, have fun. I hope you know the rules.
Chess boxing. Let's go.
The chess boxing is literally what was just suggested in the chat.
Chess boxing is a good sport, unlike chess.
So in some other news, before we get into the bigger news about these kinds of games.
We're going to do a whole show on this game probably as soon as we play it some more.
So Keyforge has a problem if you're not aware, and the problem is
You didn't talk about this on GeekNights already?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
So really briefly, there are unfortunately named decks.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, if you get an unfortunately named deck,
They filtered out all the bad words, but there could still theoretically be combinations of normal, perfectly normal words that result in bad words.
now, honestly, 99% of the ones that I've seen that are designated bad are, in my opinion, fucking hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
And I would pay extra for those decks.
Well, so, because they're not tournament legal. What they're doing is if you have a deck that is banned, which you can find out by scanning it into the app,
Yep.
Because its name is bad, they will give you 2 decks. You just return the bad one.
Hell no, I'm
And-
keeping my
but if
wang,
you're not-
the
if you're
erect
not-
wang of the forest or
If you're
whatever
not
I get,
playing in tournaments,
which I won't.
then you don't give a shit if your deck is banned or not. So if the name is hilarious and not offensive to you, why get the 2 free decks if you got the one awesome hilarious deck?
I want the flying bonerman of Erectile Cove or whatever's gonna come out.
I would much rather have that deck than the 2 you're going to send me with boring names.
Yep. And I'm sure there'll be a point in the future where unfortunately named decks will be worth above market price to collectors.
There's already some stores who are opening the decks, like the retailers are buying the game wholesale, opening the decks, sort of guessing by looking at the deck list, like how strong the deck is competitively, and then selling them at an adjusted price that they just randomly decide.
Yep.
Like, I think this deck is gonna kick some fucking ass. I'll see if I can sell it opened for $70 instead of the normal cover price.
Which, if the name was funny enough, yeah.
No, they're not doing it based on the name. They're doing it based on the card list, which faces outward.
Yeah, that I wouldn't care about. But if the name were funny enough, that alone would be enough for me to pay extra.
Yeah, I think, you know, on the one hand, it's like, well, I guess you can do that. But on the other hand, it would be kind of awesome to see the publisher just be like, well, we're not selling any products to your store anymore. Fuck off.
Yeah, I'm ambivalent on that issue.
Yeah, it's sort of like, whatever.
Yeah, we'll see what they do.
Because I don't like game retailers or game publishers.
But there's some news for the other game that we haven't talked about a lot yet on Geek Nights, Artifact.
All right, so Artifact, if you don't know, is Valve's entry into the card game world. It's the first new Valve game since Dota 2.
And as we've said,
the
game looks really fun. Like, everything about this game looks great,
It
except...
is also designed by Richard Garfield, just like Keyforge is. And it is a competitive, collectible card game. And it's based on Dota, but actually that's kind of good because it's sort of like, hey, there's like 3 boards you're managing. It's really complex. It looks like a really fun game.
It's got a little bit of Colonel Blotto going on. Like,
yeah, I was really hyped to actually play this game until I found out how they were selling the cards. We talked about this in Geek Nights before. I'm pretty sure they're going to sell you. You can get in on the game for $20, which gets you like a starter set full of stuff.
Which, like old Magic when I was a kid, yeah, $20 would get me like a starter deck and a couple boosters.
Right. If you want to buy more cards, cost $2 a pack, which is slightly more than Hearthstone cards.
Yep.
The only other way to get more cards is to play the competitive like drafting mode, right? Where you like have to use tickets to play in a draft, and then if you do well in the draft, you could then somehow earn more free drafts and also more free draft tickets and also some cards, right? Or you can buy cards on the secondary market because you can sell cards on the Steam marketplace. Like if you get too many copies of a card, you can sell them for money.
That already is...
And then people can buy cards for money, specific cards.
Fuck that nonsense. What is wrong with you, Val?
So basically, as soon as I saw this news about how the game would be monetized, I said, nope, not touching it at all. Not even going to bother playing it. Nope. Because even Hearthstone is sort of like, well, you pay a few $100s a year and you have all the Hearthstone cards.
Yeah, pretty
right?
much.
It's still a lot of money, but it's worse than, say, the Netrunner model because the amount of money you have to pay to guarantee getting all the cards is variable.
Artifact looks fun enough. I'd pay $100 a year to just get like all the cards and play the game.
I would pay like if they could just say, hey, you're gonna get all the cards, I would pay the $20 to get in. And if I played it a lot and kept playing it and got way into it and stopped playing other card games because I was playing Artifact all the time, then I would pay a monthly fee, like $10, $15 a month if I just had every Artifact card ever and I could play all I wanted.
Chris Reimer points out in the chat, which I was going to say in a little bit, this is basically the bullshit business model of Magic the Gathering Online. We all know how well that did.
Well, MTG Arena, which is a Magic Online thing, has the same business model as Hearthstone, basically, only it's Magic cards, and it's a worse game. But yeah, it's like... Now, what's the news is that basically the thing that I figured out months ago, so I didn't even bother with Artifact, the Artifact open beta opened up because it was a closed beta. All these people got in and realized, oh, the only way I can fucking do anything is either spend money to get cards or get draft tickets, which cost $1 each because you buy them in packs of 5 for $5. Otherwise, I'm just stuck with the same cards I got for my $20 and I never get any other more cards ever. I don't get a single extra card without spending money. It's like going to an arcade where you put $1 in the machine and you play, and you better win 3 games or else.
Meanwhile, at least Keyforge, I can buy a bunch of decks and just play, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, well, it's a card, and you get cardboard for your money.
Yeah.
Right? I guess will last. You could play Keyforge forever, even 100 years from now.
I mean,
if your cardboard doesn't disintegrate.
There is a world where I could praise Valve for trying to do a different monetization model. But the reality is what they picked. They picked the worst possible one.
Well, they really wanted to use their marketplace.
Yeah, but the marketplace is the fucking problem.
Right.
That is having a real money marketplace is that is the most harm you can make possible.
I feel like we should
with
just
your
make
monetization model.
A shitty generic Magic clone card game, just like all the rest. Not even bother trying to make a newer, interesting game. Just
Makes like Billy and the Snake Man too.
Yeah, just make a game just like Hearthstone, just like Magic, just like all the other card games. You put out dudes and they fight. Just, mix it up a tiny amount, make it slightly unique, and just do the business model of you pay a flat fee and have all the cards, and that's the only difference between us and the competition.
Oh, wow. I just looked up Billy versus the Snake Man.
Okay.
I guess it's still around?
I don't know.
All right, anyway, I'm not going to follow that thread any further because it's time for...
What was my thing again?
Yours was the spin. The really good spin.
The what?
Price is Right?
Oh, right. That spin. Okay.
things of the day. What do you got?
All right, so when I was a kid and I was stuck home from school for whatever reason, at 11 a.m. Eastern Time would be The Price is Right. And I would watch that shit no matter what because it was really great. And it had
Price is Right is like a fantastic game show.
lots of old people commercials, but really great show, really entertaining, worth your hour while you eat lunch.
Still good, too.
In between playing video games. The current host, Drew Carey, not as good as Bob Barker. Apparently, it's been 11 fucking years since Bob Barker has been the host of the show.
Next, you're going to tell me Craig Kilborn doesn't host The Daily Show anymore.
Right. But still a great show. Still really hasn't changed fundamentally all that much since 1970, whatever.
Yeah. The only problem is I don't know what anything fucking costs anymore.
It depends what they put on there. But the problem with The Price is Right is everything is always MSRPs.
Yep.
So it's like you're going to say the price you pay at the store. That's way under the actual MSRPs that they use on The Price is Right. Anyway, one of the best parts of The Price is Right is when they spin the wheel twice of the show to see who gets in the showcase. But also
the Showcase Showdown.
But you can also just win money on the fucking wheel. Right? You get $1. I saw a lot of people get $1 on this wheel. It's basically like a 1 out of what? 20-something.
However
chance,
many
right?
I always got real excited.
10, it's like a 1. There's only like 20-something slots on there, right? 0, 5, 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Yeah, it's like 1 in 20 shot at getting $1 on there. And with 2 spins, you can add up to $1 and win that way also, right? So you got to imagine this show has been played 5 times a week for how many decades?
Yep. So
right?
the odds are,
The
every
odds
crazy thing
are
you can think of.
Eventually, there's going to be a situation where all the contestants get $1. Well, this was a special, not only did that happen, obviously, everyone got $1. This was a special event for the show's anniversary, or Drew Carey's anniversary, or whatever, some kind of special event where you could win even more money on the wheel. And boy, did they win even more money on the wheel in some, crazy luck event, which was, again, guaranteed to happen because the show's on 5 days a week with 2 wheel spinning events per day with 6 people spinning. That's 30 times people get to play this wheel spinning game every week forever. So it's going to happen eventually, and it did. So there you go. You can see it happen.
We were talking about it before the show.
But it's funny that it happened during the special extra prize time.
I've wanted my whole life to spin that goddamn wheel.
I just wanted to because it looks like it's kind of heavy, right? Like it has some heft to it, but also that it has it's a well lubricated wheel that keeps going once you get it going with some inertia.
I remember as a kid, I watched an episode where this big dude pulls it down, and it just kept spinning and spinning and spinning.
The point is, I don't care about winning. I don't need to be on the show, even though that would be fun, also, right? But. The only reason I haven't been, like, if this was in New York and not California, I probably would have gone to be in the audience plenty of times.
Oh, hell yeah.
But I just want to feel what it feels like to spin the wheel. Just let me have a spin just so I can get a feel for it, right?
They should bring the wheel to, like, a Comic-Con.
Yeah, I don't care if, like, you give me money or I'll even give you, like, $1. Just let me feel what it feels like to spin the wheel.
I love the fact that even to this day, they basically have Drew Carey using a weird, like, long stick microphone.
Well, that's the style.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. The show doesn't change, but it doesn't need to.
So my thing of the day is it's more of a sciencey thing, but a lot of people have green laser pens or green lasers because green lasers are really cool. And
green is the best color.
Yeah, green is the best color. But y'all know, 1, don't shine lasers in your eye.
Not even red ones.
And 2, green laser pens are known to be particularly dangerous for a lot of reasons.
It's much higher frequency than red and blue. Well, not necessarily blue, but much higher frequency than red.
So, a lot of people, because independent of this, you can buy a lot of stuff on Amazon these days and eBay. So you can just get...
Well, you could buy, like, wood-burning lasers. You could buy just engraving lasers or all kinds of stuff.
So the problem here, and this video does a really good job of explaining it, and it's, like, really detailed, and they show examples and everything, but here's the deal. Green laser pens aren't just dangerous because it's green and because it's higher power. They're extra dangerous because
frequency. The same way you're using ultraviolet rays are way dangerous because they're high frequency, but like low frequency infrared waves aren't going to hurt you.
Bootleg crapo green lasers generate the green color in a way that also generates a ton of infrared radiation.
But infrared is just heat. It's
not
going to hurt you.
Which will burn the hell out of your eye.
Oh, yeah, it'll burn. Yeah.
Way faster.
But it won't cancer you like an ultraviolet or gamma ray or something.
But it'll blind you way bad.
Yeah.
So
Even the red laser will blind you way bad if it's well made.
red lasers and blue lasers tend to not have this additional danger of the
The
infrared.
blue laser's higher frequency than the green laser. Wouldn't that burn your eye also?
But they don't have that infrared. The problem is the
Don't
infrared.
point any laser at any human's eye unless they're a Nazi, in which case hold them down
Yeah.
and point lasers at both eyes.
But the problem basically is that the apparent danger of green lasers is way less than the actual danger, because if you buy a cheap green laser, the odds are it generates the laser in a way that also generates tons of super dangerous infrared radiation, and the lens that would block that radiation is definitely bootleg and counterfeit. And this video shows like how to test your green laser pen to see if it's actually outputting a shit ton of infrared radiation.
Wouldn't you just point it at your hand, and if it feels warm, it's
not
no good?
enough. Watch the video. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Every question you've had is answered by this video.
Then it's a good video.
The video is very good. Goes into great detail.
I was watching, if you have questions while you're watching a video and the video then answers the questions, that's how I was watching a cooking video today. Someone was making chilaquiles, and I was like, where's the egg? And then he's like, oh, I'm going to fry an egg. And I'm like, hello. I said it in 2 seconds. I'm like, whoa, he still hasn't gotten any egg in there. He's like, I'm going to fry egg now.
So in the meta moment, the book club book is A Space Odyssey. We'll read it soon. We've been busy.
Yep.
PAX Unplugged, we'll talk about in a minute because our whole show's about PAX Unplugged. But suffice it to say, we will be there live doing 2 events, Learn and Win Puerto Rico and the 40 Tabletop Games You Must Play Advanced Mode. So we'll be there doing 2 pretty good panels. Otherwise, we're just going to be in tabletop, playing games, going to panels, doing stuff. It's going to be a fun time.
Yep.
Other meta, we got our first PAX South panel. I'm going to do the official announcement like...
That was fast. We got any MagFest? MagFest is before PAX South.
Yeah, we're doing between 4 and 6 MagFest panels.
Too many.
Yeah. The
Cut
thing
it
is,
back.
you
I gotta play games.
You only have to be on 4 at most. I might be on more without you because I know you tend to not want to be on as many.
Oh, I want to get in and play free games and go to the arcade. I don't.
You will not have to do personally more than 4 panels.
I want to
You're
do
good.
panels all fucking day.
I got you. Thing is, so at MagFest, we're gonna do a bunch of panels. There's still like the schedule's not live yet, obviously TBD, but we will be there. But at PAX South, we are going to be doing at least a brand new panel. Not rare game mechanics, at least not yet. That's not on the schedule yet. Though we're probably doing that one at MagFest. But a new one we haven't talked about at all. Nostalgia versus game design.
Okay.
You can guess at what that one's going to be about, and you're probably wrong. But we're going to make a lot of fun of MOBAs along the way. And we're going to talk about how Windjammers isn't actually that good. But anyway.
Windjammer's out on the Switch now.
Yeah.
Also, Windjammers 2.
We'll see how Windjammers 2 ends up being.
No, it's out. Go buy
Yeah,
go
I
buy
haven't played it. I haven't touched it.
I think there is definitely some Windjammers in the eShop I haven't bought.
So yeah, PAX Unplugged, we feel, deserves some hype because we've done GeekNights for so long, over a decade.
Is it sold out yet? No.
Nope.
Are any days sold out?
Nope.
Ah.
We've done, well, it's
Such
a
a
big
shame.
convention center, and we're using way more space than we did last year.
Right, but this is like in a major area here, right? How could, the East and West are sold out, right? South sort of gets really close to sold out almost.
Yep.
Right? But we put it in Philly, which for all its awfulness, maybe people, realized how awful Philly was.
Yeah.
But, has a lot of people living near it, and it's like, here's a PAX, you can just go. Why aren't you going?
Yep. So one, we've talked a lot. Like, if you want to find our advice on like how to go to a con, how to go to PAX, like we've talked about that shit for 13 plus years. But I feel like it's worth it because we haven't done that kind of stuff in a while. We feel like we did it. I feel like it's worth it to hype up PAX Unplugged and to sort of approach it like it's a new convention and talk about like it in that sense. So let's dive right in first. PAX Unplugged is a PAX. It has all the accoutrement of a regular PAX, like all of it.
Compared to PAX East or PAX West, the only thing that is not at PAX Unplugged are video games and video game companies.
Yep.
It has Concert, Megathon. It's got Acquisitions Incorporated.
It has an expo hall.
Does it have Concert? I think it does.
So at least it has main events, but generally instead of concerts so far, the main events have been like at a regular PAX in main theater, you'll see like Acquisitions Incorporated or like the C Team, like that kind of stuff. That'll be the main event during the concert slot. at PAX Unplugged.
It's got a keynote, which this year, so last year, the keynote at PAX Unplugged was not very good. It was like the CEO of WotC.
And like it was pretty lame.
Apparently, the CEO of WotC is like a marketing guy, and he was not the greatest public speaker. And yeah, it was disappointing for especially CEO of WotC. Well, again, they went down to the WotC hole, but this time it is Jeremy Crawford, the lead rules designer of D&D and the game's managing editor. So in effect, the person who is the boss of D&D at the current time, game-wise. In terms of like, the actual game rules and stuff in the game, as opposed to, say, someone who's managing like, marketing of D&D, right?
Yep.
But so hopefully having an actual game person and not a marketing person will make this much more interesting. But I still can't deny I'm disappointed that it's another WotC person and another.
I mean,
right?
you know
It's
what I
like
want?
Another dude. Why can't they go?
I want like
into-
Rainier Knizia.
Right, that's who should
I
be.
want like Cole Ware to come and talk about like fucking weird games.
That should be the first person. It should have been the first one, right? But
Yeah.
it's like I wish they would get people from the smaller, more indie tabletop community,
Or
which
someone
is
who's,
wide
like,
and vast.
someone who's broadly famous. Like
At the very least, you think they would have had the what's his name who did the Thornwood game for them, whatever Thornwatch game.
or yeah, really, we need to get like Morton Kanan.
But it's like, seriously, just get anyone who's from the the not WotC. There's other even another tabletop game company, right? Even a bad one, right? It's like there's a guy who run Rio Grande Games with the cowboy hat. What's his name?
Oh yeah, someone like that. Just basically someone who can tell a bunch of war stories about the game industry that isn't just like marketing for D&D.
It's like it'd be so easy, but it's like, well, they're just going on the WotC hole a second time. So next year you better get a non-WotC person.
Yep, I would recommend if you're going to PAX Unplugged.
I'm still going to this keynote though.
Yeah, I go to the keynote every PAX. I will do this forever.
It's still the person who's in charge of D&D right now.
In general, while a lot of the more recent keynotes haven't been that great, the majority of the keynotes I've been to have been great. It's just I've been going to a lot of PAXs.
Did you see the D&D just came out with a box set that is, I assume, it's 3 books, which I assume must be Player's Handbook, DM's Guide, Monster Manual.
Yeah.
I assume those are the 3 books. I don't know what the other choice they would be, but for the new, it's obviously for whatever the newest edition is, 5th edition, right? But they were really nice looking books in a really nice box, and I was like, man, if I played D&D right now, I would totally buy that.
Dude,
box of books.
I see those books, and I just feel like I need to buy them anyway.
It's
Because
a way nice looking box of books.
also, like as much as I
Go
love
look it up. Look for like D&D boxes.
as much as I like my indie RPGs with all my D6s and my bag of D6s, every now and then I have my dice bag out and I see my D8s and my D20s, and part of my brain is like, Rim, play some fucking D&D. You must. You feel it. It's happening.
All right. So the next thing at PAX Unplugged that needs hyping is the Keyforge, which we talked about a little bit.
Yep.
Right? But basically, they're going all out with this game. There's going to be like nonstop tournament events. There's going to be people selling it, people demoing it, right? Like they are going all in on this game, which is a game we are obviously somewhat excited for. So we will definitely be making at least one stop over in the Keyforge zone to see what's up. Probably to just buy the damn game because I ordered on Amazon and it keeps getting delayed. So I might cancel that order and just buy it unplugged.
I doubt I will engage in the tournament scene or serious play.
No, by go over there, I mean literally go over
Oh, yeah, but I'm
there.
talking like long run. Like, I feel like a bunch of us are going to play a lot of Keyforge casually.
I learned from my Netrunner days, I am not going to competitively play any Fantasy Flight Games game. I am only going to just, because this one particular game happens to be published by them, but is not designed by anyone there, I'm going to buy one copy of it and play it with people I know according to the rules we know are right.
Well, having played like a little bit, like having
played a
interacted with the game at PAX West, I feel it scratches the itch that has been unscratched since I stopped playing Magic in middle school.
Yep.
Like, that itch has been itching. Like, I'm not going to pretend I haven't been feeling that itch.
Well, you should have scratched it with some Netrunner.
Nah, Netrunner didn't scratch it.
All right.
It didn't. When I played
It was a
Netrunner,
much better game. Probably a better game
yeah,
than Keyforge.
it is an objectively better game, but it didn't scratch that itch. And I'm still not 100% sure
played
why.
some fucking Hearthstone on
Eh,
the toilet.
It has to be cardboard or it doesn't scratch it.
Okay, you can't scratch yourself with some bits.
Nah.
You can't use
Plus,
little electrics to shock yourselves. Okay.
so I feel like that we're going to do that a lot. Also, the tournament scene, like the general like tabletop tournament scene at PAX Unplugged is way better than the tabletop tournament scene at regular PAXs because it is a primary part of PAX Unplugged.
Right.
So if you've
at
been
regular
burned-
PAXs, there are tabletop tournaments, and quite a few. They're very substantial. But at PAX Unplugged, it's like it's not a part of the tabletop department. It's its own department, the tournament department, and it is big time. Big time.
Yep. And also, a thing to be aware of, there is a small number of events at PAX Unplugged that you have to sign up for in advance. But they are almost entirely either games where you have to do prep in advance, like make a character to bring, or make an army of miniatures and bring it.
Yep.
Or they are tournaments that need a large number of players where they cannot organize the tournament at con.
Yeah,
and
they
deal
have
with
these like mega tournaments. What do they actually call them? Like the PAX Championship Series or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like these giant, enormous tournaments. And in order to, I don't know if you have to register for them in advance, but you can register for them in advance. And that is simply because they can't have all that. They have tons and tons of seats for these tournaments, and they could not possibly register everyone on site.
Yep. So it's a good thing. Like as much as I philosophically am opposed to any pre-convention signups for anything, there are limited cases of tabletop where it actually makes perfect sense, and I feel like Unplugged's doing it right. So if you want to play like the game where you bring a giant army, check and see if that's something you can sign up for in advance.
But yeah, most tournaments at PAX, the way it works is you show up the day of. You can't go a day ahead of time, right? Because some people have one-day badges. It wouldn't be fair to them. And at 10 a.m. when PAX starts, you go to the sign-up area and you put your name on the sheet if it's not full, and now you're in that tournament. You show up at the time. You play in the tournament. You try to win. If you win, you get a PAX medal. Congratulations. Some tournaments which might be run by non-PAX. They might be run by vendors or something like that, in which case there may be prizes or who knows what, or there may be other entry fees, but those are not run directly by enforcers. The main tournaments that are on the schedule, unless otherwise noted on there, are run by enforcers, and they don't cost anything to enter other than signing up on the piece of paper.
So the Omegathon at PAX is always like a big deal and is fun. Like if I'm free, I will watch Omegathon rounds because they're really entertaining.
Yeah, why not?
But the Omegathon at PAX Unplugged, they're still like working out exactly what kinds of games. They're still like figuring stuff out. But I want to point out,
I wonder if they will use my tumbling dice suggestion.
Tumbling dice, PAX custom tumbling dice would be fucking lit.
If you see tumbling dice in the final round of the Omegathon, you just know that was all me.
Yeah.
I suggested that one, and it was heard by people who were at Unplugged.
But what I will say is that it is a full-on Omegathon, just like any other PAX. It's worth seeing these rounds, but especially the Omegathon finale. We'll talk about that at the end of our little hype show. But round 4 of the Omegathon at PAX Unplugged on Friday is Blockus. Blockus is a game of goddamn skill. Blockus, I might like go watch this round. Like this.
I am personally extremely good at Blockus.
I too am extremely good at Blockus. Scott and I have both studied classic opening moves and opening strategies to Blockus.
I usually beat you at Blockus, though.
When was the last time we played Blockus?
I can remember the last time I played Blockus. It was at a recent PAX. I can't remember the last time I lost.
Oh, so the other problem is 4-player Blockus. Joey Jojo Shabadoo could fuck it up for me. 2-player Blockus is a game of such pure anger. But this Omegathon is going to be pretty off the hook.
You got a problem?
Sneeze.
So I want to talk about some panels I saw on the schedule that look really hype. So the first one is CEO panel discusses publishing trends and avoiding mistakes, right? The panelists are Stephen MacArthur, a game lawyer from the MacArthur law firm. That's the guy's job, game lawyer. Tim Fowers, the CEO of Fowers Games. Patrick Leader, owner, creator, director of
I think I've met Stephen MacArthur.
All right, well.
Pretty sure I've met him.
The director of Leader Games, which publishes like Root and all that biz, right? And Scott Gaeta, sorry if I mispronounce your name, other Scott, the president and publisher of Renegade Game Studios, which I've heard of but don't know which games they make. But that panel looks hella interesting. That is at Saturday at 10 a.m. I'll probably be there. And while Rim talks about something, I will scroll down until I see the next awesome panel.
So what's cool is that a lot of the panels that involve publishers, in general at PAX Unplugged, they lean a little more toward the kinds of panels I tend to go to at PAX Dev. Because the thing is, PAX Dev is interesting in that most of the people who want to go to PAX, like who want to engage in the industry stuff like this, are tabletop. So it's hard for people who are in the tabletop industry to get out to PAX Dev because it's real expensive. A lot of the tabletop industry is in the East Coast. So I'm seeing a lot of these kinds of panels at PAX Unplugged that I normally would see at a dev, like this CEO panel, and I think that'll be really interesting. In general, I feel like the panels game at Unplugged will be more specialized to the attendance of PAX Unplugged because there's a lot more overlap between the people who play tabletop games and the people who make and publish them than there is in video games.
So Saturday at 1, there is a FFG Keyforge creating the world's first unique deck game panel, but even though I just talked about how hyped we were for Keyforge, I'm kind of meh on this panel. Maybe I'll go, maybe I won't, because Richard Garfield, the designer of Keyforge, is not on the panel.
Yep.
Probably not at PAX Unplugged either. It's mostly FFG people. And also, it's probably mostly going to be marketing for their game and maybe not too much good info. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch that one on Twitch afterwards if it's on Twitch. Maybe. We'll see. That's a maybe panel.
So here's how you handle this, like being hype for PAX. Especially, a lot of people go to PAX Unplugged because it's kind of in Philly and easy to get to. Never been to a PAX before. Here's the absolute best way to decide what panels to go to. Download the guidebook app on your smartphone or whatever, and Thursday or Wednesday, like before you go to the con, or maybe Friday morning while you're waiting for the keynote to start, just go through the schedule, start on Friday, scroll all the way down, go through Saturday, go through Sunday, click on any panel where the title looks even remotely interesting.
Right. Oh, here's a panel Saturday. All the good panels on Saturday. Saturday at 6, Executive Women in Tabletop. There are 6 women, right? Heather O'Neill, Elaine Chase, Kat Tobin, Julie. I'm not going to talk about all their jobs are because it's just going to take too long. It's a mouthful. But it's like, these are like 6 CEOs, COOs, VPs of global brand strategy for game companies. How come none of them is doing the keynote? Why are they on this panel instead? I mean, well, they should be on this panel and also do the keynote. But hey, go to that panel.
Yeah.
That'd be very good.
So here's one. This is a workshop. It's a masterclass in the Owlbear. It is 2 hours, and everyone's going to learn how to paint a fucking amazing owlbear together.
But if I can't even paint like fucking anything, like not even like
this masterclass is intended for painters of all skill levels.
Okay.
And we'll focus on painting feathers and fur. Oh shit, this is gonna go all the way to dry brushing and inking. I kind of want to go to this.
How long is it?
2 hours.
You think you can get me to paint an amazing owlbear in 2 hours?
You will paint. I think you know what's going to happen. You're going to paint.
It's going to paint a bear like it's going to look like that. What's that famous one where the Jesus looks all messed up?
You are going to paint the best possible owlbear you could paint. That is what will happen.
Maybe I should go to this. Does it cost money?
No.
I think there's going to be. So last year
you have to register for it on Friday at 9 a.m. Because it's going to fill up, obviously. It's the Owlbear panel.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of shit that happens at PAX Unplugged that cannot happen at any other PAX.
So at every PAX I've ever been to that I can remember, Reaper Miniatures has had a little paint and take booth, right? Where you basically walk up and for free, they give you a mini. There's like 2 choices, like Wizard and some Space Marine. And you take one and you go and you sit down and there's like a few paints and you paint it. And I painted Space Marine finally. I think it was PAX South I did this Space Marine? I finally did it last year at PAX South. Yeah.
I think so. The problem is we go to so many PAXs, they literally all blur together.
It was PAX South last year. After all the years I wanted to do it, I finally did it. And that made me so hype. I was like, oh man, I totally want to not play any miniature games like Warhammer, but buy a tiny amount of paint and a tiny amount of minis and paint a few when I'm bored. So I bought the most basic starter set that's got a skeleton in it because skeletons.
Skeletons are real fun to paint. It's all about inking. Inking is what makes a skeleton look good.
And I have yet to open mostly because it's not that I haven't had a free weekend. It's that I have to find some sort of material to cover my very expensive tiny table so I don't get paint on it.
But basically, the way to handle this, like I said, look through the schedule, click on every panel where the title looks even minimally interesting, and read the description, look at the people, and think to yourself, answer this one question. If I had nothing better to do, would I go see this? And if the answer is yes, just add it to your scheduling guidebook.
Oh.
And then when you're at the con, don't worry about going to all those panels. Like, you're going to have your short list of like the 3 things you really want to go see. But otherwise, just like everything, add them all to your schedule. Anytime you're bored, just look at your guidebook and see, hey, what panel is on like next that I said I might want to go to? And if you're bored and it's there, just go to it. That is like the best way to maximize your PAX, because anytime you got downtime, you've got like a guaranteed backup thing to go do.
Speaking of Thornwatch guy, which I remembered his name, Mike Selinker.
Yep.
Right? And I said he should do the keynote, but here he is doing a panel Sunday at 1 called, this sounds like a panel I would do. This is a puzzle. This is a game. He's going to talk about what's a puzzle and what's a game, what the difference is.
I have not only have I seen him give basically that talk at PAX Dev multiple times, like a talk like it, like he gives good talks. They're good panels. But 2, I had a long conversation where he drunkenly explained this in detail to me. It'll be a good panel.
I'm sure it will be.
Yeah, because we think about this. A lot of these panels are the kinds of things that you'll hear us arguing about in panels. Just people smarter than us who are deeper in the industry will argue about it with more information than we have.
Yep. Also, I just want to point out, if you are the kind of person, which is a lot of people, who really want to play some RPGs, usually a lot of people are like, hey, I want to play D&D, but I never played a D&D before, right? PAX Unplugged is probably the place for you to go. It's going to be a lot more accessible than one of those tiny RPG cons in the, like that's, usually like a UberCon or something, if that still exists. And it's probably going to be a lot less crowded than trying to play D&D at like a PAX East. But yeah, this basically, if you look at the schedule, there's like D&D Adventurers League, Pathfinder Society, all this stuff is basically happening constantly. Even other RPGs that are lesser known that you might be more interested in are all over the fucking site. I see some Star Wars RPG.
If you want to get your RPG on,
the Danger Room LARP by Mystic Realms, whatever the hell that is. Maybe it's based on the X-Men Danger Room. I don't know.
I just want to point out,
I don't know. I've never heard of it.
Sunday morning, if you want to win a PAX tournament, guys, there is a 16-player single elimination Connect 4 tournament. Connect 4 is a solid fucking game.
If you go, you can start right now, go online and learn how to be perfect at Connect 4. It won't take you very long. Practice it a few times against your friends. Practice by playing it online against an AI.
Learn the backups, learn the guaranteed strat, and learn the backup strat if you're the wrong player.
Right, and then basically you will probably face in the final someone else who did the same thing.
And then it'll come down to, do you go first or second?
But anyway, that's an easy win of a PAX medal.
But this is a good schedule. Like, there's good stuff in here.
I also want to point out, again, if none of those RPGs are interesting to you, or maybe they're not at a good time on your schedule, RPGs, Games on Demand is going to be there. What this is, if you don't know it, they're at many PAXs as well as other conventions, is a little booth or an area. You go there with your friends, or maybe you meet up with some strangers there, who knows, and there's RPGs there. There are GMs just waiting for players. And as soon as I did this 1 year at PAX West, I GM'd like 3 or 4 RPGs in the Games on Demand area. And you just wait. When I was a GM, I just went there. I waited. I put up these little cards, and it was like a menu. Players came up, they looked at the menu, and they were like, they wanted to play an RPG right then, there and now. As soon as there were enough people, I brought them over to a table. I ran a one-shot RPG session. I sent them on their way. And even though I thought only maybe 1.5 of those sessions was good, I got excellent feedback on all the sessions. So if you want to play RPG, telling you, PAX Unplugged, you cannot miss. This is your chance. All those of you are like, oh man, I never get to play RPG. I watch RPG on Twitch. I watch Acquisitions Incorporated, but I got no friends. And I can't. I have friends, but I can't get them together because they're all busy.
Dude, all the people who are obsessed with the C Team are here in the same building with you.
You can go to PAX Unplugged for 3 days, and if you really want to, you could probably play 2 or 3 RPG a day if you really dedicated all your time to that and nothing else. And that is not a bad way to spend the PAX Unplugged.
So in terms of like LFG, like all PAXs have like a looking for game area and tabletop. PAX Unplugged has a fucking looking for game area. Like if you want to, no matter what weird like train game nonsense you want to play, if you LFG at Unplugged, you are practically guaranteed to find other people who will play this game with you.
And even if those people are that guy, it's PAX, so they're not allowed to be that guy.
Yep.
You can always get some enforcers and be like, yo, we got a that guy over here, and they'll get taken care of. You can be rest assured the worst you'll have to deal with is slightly awkward gay.
And let me tell
He
you,
wants to play Shea Geek but won't be bad.
because it's PAX Unplugged, it's the tabletop-focused one, the enforcers at PAX Unplugged, even more so than other PAXs, are on top of that guy. Like, they're a crack team to make sure that guy doesn't that guy all over you. Let's see. There's a kids room and a family room. Like, Sunday is a kids day. Like, you can bring your kid if they're under 12 for free on Sunday.
Oh, baby.
And there is a big area, because PAXs are family-friendly if you're a family that says fuck casually. Like, that's how PAX is. Like, it's family-friendly, but it has to be, it's like Cool Dad that lets the kids say fuck when they're not in school. There is a specifically family-friendly room.
So I think there was a dad who had like let his kid, they would listen to GeekNights in the car, and he was like, yeah, I just got to tell my kid not to say words that you're saying. And I'm like, I don't think you've learned the lesson of Geek Nights, which is that you should have a cool kid who says fuck like he's from New York.
But the kid who's smart enough to not say fuck in front of his middle school teacher.
Or to say fuck you, middle school teacher.
Yep.
Just a fucking word. Get over it.
But there is a family room that has miniature painting and games and is the fuck free zone. So like PAX Unplugged is more family and kid friendly than a general PAX. That is like worth noting. It's kind of it's a cool thing. I'm glad they do it. The pin, like all the PAX stuff, like the pin trading is just there. Tabletop is so big. There's like, so if you haven't been to a PAX recently, there's a new thing in tabletop called First Look. PAX Unplugged.
That started at last PAX Unplugged, but it has reappeared at every PAX all year, and it's going to be at every PAX forever.
First Look, the deal, if you don't know, is it's not like regular tabletop where there's like an area where everyone plays Carcassonne and an area where you play whatever. It's an area where there are games already set up with the rules sitting there.
And enforcers who have tried to spend as much time as they could learning the rules so that they could teach anyone who walks up.
So you can go into this area, see a game that is not out yet, or not out yet in America.
We had expert enforcers go to Essen, BGG Con, and all these other board game events that are conveniently scheduled right before PAX Unplugged to collect the newest and hottest board games that are unavailable still in the United States or hard to obtain. Bring them here to teach them to you so you can have the first look at them.
It's really great and amazing to just sit down at some brand new game and have an enforcer expertly teach you and a bunch of other people how to play it and then be available to answer questions while you play it. And when you're done playing it, walk away from the table and the game is set up for the next group of people.
The only thing I can tell you, though, is that the first look area at PAX Unplugged
it's hard. There's a line.
Is very crowded because a lot of people.
So the real secret?
You got to go to the first look area
at PAX South.
At literally any other PAX, but PAX South, it is the least crowded.
Yeah, PAX South is like the secret PAX Unplugged.
You'll get the same exact first look area and the same exact tabletop library that was at PAX Unplugged, but there'll be fucking like almost no one else playing games there, but the same enforcers learning and teaching, the same games, the same everything, and now you can play those games just to your heart's content without having to wait. Whereas at PAX Unplugged, you'd be like, oh man, I really want to play that Meeple Circus. That was in First Look last year, right?
Yep.
And meanwhile, someone's playing it. So you walk away and come back, someone else is playing it. You walk away and come back, someone else is playing it. At PAX Unplugged, at PAX South, it's just sitting there waiting for you to come and enjoy the circus.
And one last thing that's interesting about PAX Unplugged is that, you know, Mike and Jerry are both like around at other PAXs kind of equally and they hide and whatever. But if you're, PAX Unplugged is kind of like the Jerry at PAX. Like, Mike will be doing like his Thornwatch stuff, and Jerry's just like wandering around all the time, like playing games with people. He's more accessible than he is at other PAXs. So if your jam is to like be adjacent to that dude while you play a game, like Unplugged's the one to go to if you care about that sort of thing. And last and least, if you are a fan of us already, you don't need to go to our 40 Tabletop Games You Must Play panel because, one, it's going to be on YouTube, and two, it's 80% the same as the one that's already on YouTube. We're doing it at PAX Unplugged because, one, it's going to be live streaming because that kind of panel, like gaming cons that aren't PAX don't really have good panels, and tabletop gaming cons that aren't PAX really don't have the concept of panels by and large. So we're doing this for people who aren't you. But it's probably worth going to our Learn and Win Puerto Rico if you don't know how to play Puerto Rico, because we're literally going to be in the room for a couple hours, like helping you all play Puerto Rico. Like, not just the panel. Even if you just watch it on YouTube, it's not the same. If you're in the room, you can like ask us what to do in a situation right there, and we'll be like, pick the captain because it'll totally fuck over that guy, and this guy is not going to beat you, etc. Like, that kind of stuff will happen. And if you see us, like, you know what other PAX is? People like, oh, hey, I want to play a game.
Oh, yeah, this PAX Unplugged is really soon. We should probably work on that Puerto Rico panel.
I'm going to finish it this, like, over Thanksgiving, because
Yeah.
I'm not doing shit for Thanksgiving. I'm staying home.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to, like, finish the panel on Thursday.
You don't want to go to New Jersey?
I could. Yo, do you want to? I could do that.
I don't know. I don't know. I'll see if it's possible.
See if it's possible. Emily, we're going to, like, a film screening, but that's in the morning, so it wouldn't really impact us. We have no plans. This is my, like, don't go anywhere for the holidays year, so I'm making no plans. I'm just relaxing.
The thing is, if you go to New Jersey, we take the train there, and then I don't know if a car will be big enough to put everyone in to take us to the destination.
Might just have to get me to Kew Gardens and I'll deal with the E. I don't know. I can work from home on Friday. I'm working on Friday to save vacation day, so.
Oh, I am going back. It's another thing. You'll have to get home somehow.
Yeah.
Because I'm just going to go back to Connecticut because I'm not working on Friday.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Worst case, we'll just stay home. I'll finish the panel. I had to figure out, because I have, like, the 3-player strategies. I had to do a little bit of work to figure out the right advice for 5-player Puerto Rico.
I mean, I'm just mostly going to focus on the advice that's good no matter how many players you have.
But,
right?
like, for example...
Yeah, use the captain when everyone else has to dump all their barrels in the ocean.
But here's an example. Like, 3-player Puerto Rico, never buy a fucking warehouse. Like, what a waste of goddamn doubloons.
Yep.
5-player Puerto Rico, that small warehouse is real good.
Yep.
Small warehouse plus warp.
The main strategy is you want to have to take as few actions as possible, right? Like, if I have to go mayor and then a bunch of nothing happens and then I have to go, all right, now I'll do build, right? It's like, you know, I guess we builder then mayor, right?
It's like in Race for the Galaxy.
You want to line it up so everyone else is taking the actions you need in the order you need, so that on your turn, you're getting turns ahead of other people.
Yep, like Race for the Galaxy. You can't just be going craft X2, craft X2. You want to go X2, X2, X2 and trick some other schmuck into going craft, craft, craft.
Yep.
So yeah, this is going to be a fun panel. This is going to be real. Like, not everything is going to make it to YouTube from that one. If you're a fan of GeekNights, like, seriously, go to our Puerto Rico and skip our 40 tabletop games.
Go to PAX Unplugged.
Yeah, PAX Unplugged, like, go. And unlike other PAXs, we're literally just going to be in tabletop, like, the entire time, except for
because the whole
keynote.
convention is table.
Yeah, but we're going to be in, like, tabletop free play the whole time, except for the keynote, the Q&A, the Omegathon finale, and maybe a couple of panels. We're just going to be in, like, tabletop free play playing fucking games. It's going to be amazing. All right, I think we're good. We're done.
I think the blab seal is down.
Oh, shit. I want to watch this game.